talking about some games and morals. Welcome to the Podasaurus. Kyoryu and his friends won't bore us. Hopefully. Welcome to the Podasaurus. So listen up, it's time for Podasaurus.
Aloha, welcome to the Podasaurus. I'm your host Ken, and with me we have the man of the hour, Lou.
Hey, what's up?
And TimberTaft.
Hello.
I'm trying so hard not to say Ongaku to you. so hard. How are we on this lovely March 3rd of our given Lord 2020?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing great.
I am deaf.
Roger.
You sound so bored already. We're just dead inside.
Welcome to the Podasaurus. Today, I guess we'll talk. Do you wanna talk, Ken, about something?
Wow, this is going on longer than I thought.
Enemy forces have captured a command post. Been playing a lot of Battlefront 2 as of late.
Wow.
Why?
What a surprising thing to jump into in the year of our Lord, March 2020.
March 2020. No, because I really like Battlefront. I don't really care so much about the whole loot box thing. It doesn't affect me. I'm not going to pay for the money, so it ain't going to affect me. But
Pay for the money.
Pay for the money.
Now you're really thinking the long con here. You pay for the money, so you get more money, and then with that, you can finally buy loot boxes, which actually contain gacha machines that you then put money into to open up a gacha pod, and it'll have
For the
more
chance.
money. For the chance for some money.
Exactly.
I think I heard a similar sentiment recently, and I don't know why I didn't think this way. I guess because so many free thinkers of the YouTubes and internets regularly complain about things and are so convincing about how much they dislike the thing that it rubs off on you. You're like, oh, you're right. That's disgusting. It's horrible that they would even think to do such a tragic it's such a travesty. And you don't think about, well, did I care about this before? Would I normally care about this? Like, should I really care about this? Should I be up in arms about this? I've had this conversation before with I think it was Squid about loot boxes, and kind of had the same conclusion of just like, the company needs to make money. If this is a way that they're gonna make money, it's fine. As long as they put in the forward foot of just like, hey, you should probably know that you're about to spend real money, and there should probably be things in place to make sure that people who should not have that money do not make transactions with said money. But in terms of like the business model, it's, people spend their money if they want to or don't. I don't necessarily know if developers should necessarily be held accountable for the psychological struggles of people who can't control their own compulsions. Like, it's a treacherous tightrope here, so I don't want to dismiss it. But what are your opinions?
I mean, that's for one that my thought is from a basic standpoint. They're already making a ton of money on it. It's more just to make money, so it's kind of just like you're apologizing for capitalism a little bit. But at the same time, they use those things the same way as it's like the same things that they use like scratch off, anything like that, which prey on people who have compulsive gambling habits,
Right.
Things like that. So it's less of I'm sorry people can't control themselves. More of no, they prey upon those people to get them to do it. It's less of these people can't control themselves. It's they know these people can't, and that's why it exists.
True. Is there something to be said about having a model like that in place in a game that you already paid money for versus one that is free to play and has these systems in place? Or does it not really matter because the implication is the same?
The implication is kind of the same on both, but it's less of an issue, I think, if the game is already free up front. It becomes more of an issue when I'm paying $60 for a game. You're asking me to spend more money on things that normally would have been in there. And, like, you're asking me for microtransactions on top of a game I already paid a premium price for. So,
yeah,
like,
it feels similarly.
Especially if it's like a remake of something, and then they're like, well, like Final Fantasy VII Remake, 3 classic summons are DLC. And this is already a game that's been chopped up into 3 parts. So not only is the one game, which really it's not much longer than any other Final Fantasy game, it's being chopped up into 3 parts. So we're getting, basically an $180 game, plus then paid DLC of things that already came out, that were already in the original game on top of that. And now, and most people are just like, whatever, it's fine. They need to make their money, because Square Enix doesn't ever make money, They're
yeah, I guess that's true.
They're just hurting out. They're just out there hurting. They're just a small indie developer.
Right.
No, but those pre-orders, they weren't originally summons in 7 though.
Which ones? Small Chocobo, stuff like that?
Yeah, and Kektar and all that.
They were in there.
Kektar was an enemy, if I remember correctly.
Kektar's always been like a summon and other things too. I mean, Kektar
But
was.
It wasn't in 7 though.
Oh my god. But it's already a game where they're splitting it up into at least 3 parts. We only know multiple parts. So a remake where we're getting the worst part of the game for $60, and then summons are extra on top of that. So you're telling me this game was already...
It's summons for that weren't originally in that game,
But
though.
it's a remake. There is also not a bunch of cutscenes and voice acting in that game either. Should we be paying extra for that? For a game which already is fairly tone-deaf in its execution, just by noticing how the characters are presented in the demo. Oh, did you play it yet?
Nope.
I can say at least
I have
this
no
much.
interest.
I can say
no
from
interest
this,
in 7, honestly.
Why are you arguing with me? I can say at least this much for 7. Every character that you encounter in the demo feels like they've updated them, except for Barrett. Barrett is still an awful 90s stereotype of a black man. He's just angry 90s black man stereotype, whereas everyone else has been updated. And everyone's like, well, he's Mr. T. It's like, no one knows who Mr. T is in 2020. The people playing this game now that are new are like, the Zoomers playing it, like, they're gonna be like, who the fuck is this supposed to be? Oh, he's supposed to be Mr. T. Who is Mr. T? Like, why is he the only one that hasn't been updated yet? How is he the only one that's still like an offensive stereotype character? This has come up in like almost every chat that I've gone to with people playing it. They're just like, why is Barrett so out of place and a cartoon character in this game? Whereas Cloud has been given more of a
how
cool
far
guy
is the
persona.
demo? I haven't. I probably will get it later on, but I'm not really gonna play it day one, sort of thing. But
So-
how is the demo?
So I didn't finish it. I played probably... you've played 7 though, haven't you?
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly where it ends. I got to that scorpion boss, like right when you said the bomb. I don't know how much is
Okay.
after that. I think it's probably like another 10, 20 minutes. I ended up dying there because like I wasn't really paying attention. I was like still getting a hold of the battle systems. Normal mode's actually also a bit more difficult than I thought it would be. Not that it's like, oh my god, this is so hard. It's just like, I'm not really good with action RPGs and like, just like some like kind of ridiculous ways to get around me dying in a normal mode game. The TV that we have is really dark, so I couldn't actually read the numbers on the bottom right side. I can't ever read anything on there. I actually don't play games on our main TV because I can't read anything. And I can't. It's kind of an old HD TV at this point. It's like 10 years old. So I can't adjust the colors on it, which is such a weird thing to even complain about. But like I can't play... I was trying to play The Outer Worlds on there, and I actually had to switch to the PC version because the text was so small and the screen was so dark I couldn't read it. I was like in front of the TV. I'm like, my eyes aren't this bad. But like I was doing that and I couldn't read where their health was. Also some weird things. The battle system feels like a mix between 15 and 13, and that should scare people. Because what you do is you mash buttons, or I don't remember, maybe you can hold the button down. I know, I just mash buttons to attack, and then you build up ATB gauges so you can do basic movements or like techs. You have to build up a gauge to heal, to use a potion or any item. which if you die and get revived and come back with no health, you need to attack the enemy more or wait for it to reload that bar so you can heal yourself.
Yeah, it 100% bothers me. I had gone under the impression that it was going to be a faithful recreation, so if the entire battle system is not faithful...
I thought they switched it so that you could do that also.
So there is a classic mode, I didn't try a classic mode yet, where the characters, I guess you would walk around the auto battle, and then you can just, change the, you can, pull up a menu for everything else that's going on. So, say you don't want to sit there and button mash, it's only locked to easy mode on the demo. I don't know if that will be included with anything else. I'm all for that for, people having options and accessibility. I didn't get on with the demo that much, but I also don't really like Final Fantasy VII, so I know my opinion is going to be pretty much, people are going to ignore it, because who cares anyway, because I don't like it, but I've never gotten into 7. This demo in this game, this current game coming out, take place in my least favorite section of the game, which is the boring, drab, dreary slums of Midgar. I've only gotten past Midgar one time, and then I stopped around the time that we got Yuffie, because, oh god, it's such a terrible part of the game. They steal all your items, and you have to go fight her or something.
I do have concerns about Square Enix's approach to the release. Like you said, the kind of a tone-deaf execution. Just effectively, by splitting this game in 3 parts, they're going the episodic route. They have to. When you split up, so name a series since 2010 that has done well with the episodic formula. Telltale would count if not for the fact that it literally bankrupted them.
I was going to say Life is Strange is my other thought.
I guess that's true. That wasn't Telltale, was it?
But that's not also a big epic action game type thing either. Like a big long RPG. That's something that I think worked in the episodic format, because it kind of felt like you're playing a TV show almost.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine if this game goes the route of Half-Life 2 episodes, where we have 1, 2, and that's it? They never finished 3 because they got bored, right?
What if somehow this comes out and they plan 2, and then they there's such a huge backlash to it, and then the second part comes out and somehow that sells less than the first part? What if they decide it's not worth finishing? Mm-hmm. What if they're let's just cut our losses because we have to make the whole new thing, and say I don't know, the first game's just 1 million copies. I'm just using this. Second game sells 500,000. They're just it's the next one's going to be it could be 300,000 or less. Is this worth our time? They might the only reason that we got 313 games was because they messed up the whole thing with Versus 13 and Agito, and then they basically just reused assets for 13.2 and 13.3. It was a lot of reused stuff, so it was just cheap. That's why there's almost no CG cutscenes in those, because they were cheap to make. Because they knew they had already spent the money on the other stuff, and they just repurposed things. They can't really do that with 7 because you don't go back to Midgar. Once you leave, you're gone.
Yeah, I think it's emblematic of the future. It's hard to predict, and for all of the things that I don't like Square Enix for, they do have a habit of finishing or at least repurposing things that they were working on. I think it's been very rare with them that they've just outright not done a thing.
15 hasn't been finished yet, and it's not going to be.
Yeah, it's never going to be finished.
Imagine thinking that game was going to be finished when you bought it, and then finding out even after a second round of DLC and stuff, it's still not finished.
Imagine when Versus was originally announced, and that was going to be the game. And
so I guess it's more that this might be an emblematic problem of modern Square Enix, and I'm operating of the mindset of, hey, Final Fantasy 12 was a good game. Remember that one?
That was the last good Final Fantasy, at least in name.
It really was. It really was.
14 says hello.
Well, let's be fair. We're not going to count in 14 and 11 just because they're MMOs, and most people are going to be like, I didn't play those. If you're going to talk to the main Final Fantasy fan base, one of my moderators, Pasta Demon, I think she hasn't played any other Final Fantasy except for 10 and 14, because she's not going to go back and play the other ones. Most people, if you play 14, it's more likely that you like MMOs rather than you like Final Fantasy. And the flip side, if you don't like MMOs, you're probably not going to play 14. I don't play 14. The only online games I play are Monster Hunter.
I tried 14. I got through like a small chunk of the Elven like starting area, and then I was like, yeah, it feels pretty tropey. It felt so tropey that like I'm sure maybe the rest of it gets better, but so far it feels like a.
Did you get to Ifrit at least?
Probably not. I didn't get very far, so
If you're not a big
require
MMO
a lot of
person,
patience.
if you're not a big MMO person, the tutorial of 14 goes on for way too long. Like, I think that might be even like your first 30 days is just trying to get through the tutorial of your character.
Yeah, it's kind of a big chunk, and like it picks up once you start doing the initial dungeons. It starts picking up from there, and then you do Ifrit. Like Ifrit is like the first like big thing that you get to do in that game, which is I really did like. Because I was, originally when I played 14, I was having trouble getting through there. And then once I hit Ifrit and then all the other summons that you face, then it gets a little bit more into the story kind of thing.
I've heard that like the story, by the time like getting through even like the vanilla and then the DLC, the story is actually very good and has probably one of the best main villains of a Final Fantasy game.
Oh, yeah. Once the hook that you go through, at least with MSQ, which is the base game, to Heaven's Sword, is probably one of the best hooks that I ever went through in a Final Fantasy game. And going from there, like, my bar was set even higher at every little hook into the next expansion, it's been amazing.
Yeah, and like they do so much with that. Like that one's still, I know it's an MMO, so most things are still updated, but they've made such an effort to connect other IPs into it where that felt natural in a way, I guess. From what I've heard, like the Nier one, I mean, Nier, they can always find a way to fit that in. The Monster Hunter one, wasn't that just the Rathalos that showed up, or was it
Yeah, Rathalos.
And like in the converse was in Monster Hunter World, we got Bahamut, right?
Yeah.
I can't beat that one Tsuyaku mission where it has the crystal because it just like wipes me. I get wiped every time by that thing. So I've never actually seen what the next part is. But like they threw them in there in a way where they're not too jarring. Like even when you're running around in the area and I don't remember any of the names of stuff from World right now. Where you run around the area where you do that stuff, there's cactuars around there, and they don't look that out of place because you're just at first like, what the hell is that? And you run over, you're like, oh, it's a cactuar. But like you're in a desert area, so it kind of like...
So it kind of makes sense that something like that would be existing.
Mm-hmm. So like if you weren't even aware of Final Fantasy, and like you just saw that, it wouldn't look that out of place because they even kind of did it in the graphical style of Monster Hunter, so it's not just like, oh, that's a Final Fantasy X cactuar right there. Why is that in here?
Cool. So our first little topic that we did is
speaking of jarring. As a final statement about the loot box conversation, I just wanted to say
that's what we were talking about.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, it was great. I just wanted to clarify. I think one thing that I do notice with these discussions is I think that it's a two-sided coin. Right. One is it an ethical quandary for developers on whether or not to use loot boxes, and is it something that should be fixed that most people, I think, are in agreement in? And I think the second part of this coin is, should I personally be offended? Should I personally do something about it? Which at the end of the day, the best thing that any individual can do with regards to this, I guess, semi-political gaming issue is if you don't like the idea of loot boxes and you want to see them go away, you have to make the conscious decision to not give it money, right?
Vote with your wallet.
Exactly.
I mean, that's all you can do. You
for
can do
one
that.
thing...
So you can do that, or you can go bitch
ahead.
on Twitter.
Right.
Yeah. Well, for me, because there's to that two sides of the same coin there, where developers have to take charge of it, but you yourself, the player, needs to know, okay, well, there's these kind of things that are going around. What can I do for myself to make sure that I don't fall victim to these kind of things? You gotta know your limit of what you're paying for also.
Right. Yeah, so I just kind of want to double back on that because I realized that we went down the maybe the ethical rabbit hole with it, and Then we ended up at Final Fantasy VII, which was a great place to go. But just wrapping up my feelings on that.
So what have you been playing, Timber, though? Since I've mentioned that I've been playing Battlefront and Lou's been pretty much playing Final Fantasy, at least the demo.
I did that for like
at
30
least
minutes yesterday. That's
like a dabble in it.
I have been living in a glass wall of Witcher. It's been great.
Oh my god, I swear to God, if you sing that song, I am going to fly to Michigan, Wisconsin, where are you? The Hand? Minnesota? One of those?
Oh no. Well, I have great news. I've just
if you have a
finished
cover,
producing a cover, and I just need to do the video for it. It has nothing to do with anything.
Let's. How much does tickets cost on American Airlines?
All right. Well, this is Timber's last episode on the Podasaurus. Please wish him good luck in the future, and hopefully someone tosses a coin to his bitch ass.
Besides The Witcher, which has been a really good time, and shockingly, it's pulled a lot of Polish viewers who also shockingly were not that into The Witcher.
Really? The Polish series would bring in Polish people?
You're not even prime time for Poland, are you?
No, I'm not prime time for Poland, but I don't know if you heard the last part of that. The ones that are coming in don't actually like The Witcher, or don't follow it that closely. Like, they're just like, oh, there's some streamers on. This one's doing The Witcher. I'm Polish. I guess I'll watch.
It's like it's like someone doing like a fable storytelling of like, I know that series. It's made my country fairly popular. Let's go watch it.
Yeah, I think it's great. But they're all great.
You know what would make this guy's day? Let's go in there, tell him we're Polish, and we don't like the game he's playing. He's gonna love it. Oh, do you guys like The Witcher? Is it pretty popular? Yeah, we don't like it.
It's like if I'm streaming Yakuza and then a bunch of Yakuza people just come on and say, I love it.
Hey, he knows a thing.
Hey, it's my thing.
Hey, he chopped the pinky off like we do for Big Jimmy there.
Apparently all Yakuza are just mafia members in the Italian mob.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, we had the Punchkis. So
that's not a distinctly Romanian.
It might have been. I'm not so sure about that one. Other than playing The Witcher, I've also passively been playing Wolcen through my roommate. I don't know if you guys heard of this one. Are you familiar with Wolcen?
Timber, if it's
Lawson, like the convenience store? What?
Timber, I'm gonna be very honest with you. If it's something you're like, I'm really excited about, I was playing this game, it's really cool, we probably have never heard of it before.
Well,
not gonna lie, we probably Ken for sure, me probably not, more likely, but like we probably have never heard of it if you're excited about it.
Perfect. That's how I like it. So Wolcen is a very recent game that came out. I think it just came out of early access. It's an official release. It is basically the ARPG to make that everybody was thirsty for. Like, ever since Diablo 3, they've been like, I really want another Diablo. And then Wolcen was like, we heard you. Here you go. Have another Diablo. And it's out. It's very pretty. It's fully voice acted, which I thought was actually pretty impressive. And it's very buggy, which is also pretty impressive. I watched my friend work his way through this game, and after he finished his first character, he went on to make a second one because he wanted to make a sorcerer after he made his like big burly broody guy who just beat everything up. It is definitely one of those games where you have 50 or 60 things trying to attack you at once, and somehow you can take them all on. But the thing with his sorcerer playthrough is that for some reason he ended up partied with someone he didn't want. Like, he accidentally accepted a party member because the game's like semi-multiplayer, and he didn't want that person in the party, so he immediately rejected the party invitation with this person who was in Act 3 when he was playing in Act 1. And when he reloaded his save, his character, who was from Act 1, level 17, was now in an Act 3 zone, completely alone, and there was no way to go back. So yeah, it has some interesting problems, but it's definitely promising, especially if you're into Diablo likes.
I'm not. I'm not really.
Well, that's good.
Neither am I.
What would it take to get you into Diablo? What if they made a Diablo Resident Evil?
No, because Book of Memories exists, and that's kind of like a Diablo dungeon crawler set in the Silent Hill universe, and I don't like that. I mean, like, if we're really going to get into like Diablo-like, I guess Outbreak is kind of like Diablo, the closest we're going to get, and that's also I don't like that game.
Oh wow.
Maybe like if they did one where like, I'm trying to think, maybe Monster Hunter. But even then, I'd rather have like more full control over my character. I don't know. I'm trying to think of something. Oh, Pokemon. Maybe Pokemon. But isn't that just what Mystery Dungeon is? Like Diablo Light.
Do you beat up swarms of Pokemon in Mystery Dungeon?
Not swarms, but you beat up other Pokemon.
I still have to play Mystery Dungeon, although I'm glad that the remake's coming. I think I was a little disappointed when I found out it's literally just like, hey, remember that game? Have it again.
It's real ugly looking too, because it's like this weird filter over the already existing 3D models they've been using since X and Y, so it just looks really jarring. Like it looks ugly. I'll throw up a picture here. It looks ugly.
I think I'd still probably enjoy playing it over going back and trying to experience Mystery Dungeon in its original graphics. But I'll take a look at the ugliness. Because the thing is, people also said that Sword and Shield was ugly, and I
Sword and Shield is really
that.
ugly. If you look at the previous game in the series, like even just go to Let's Go. Let's Go looks better than Sword and Shield. Sword and Shield, like all the colors are washed out, the animations are really stiff. Like it just like the wild area for one is really underdeveloped.
Yeah, it looks so weird. I have no idea.
Like I've been playing Monster Hunter I guess Monster Hunter GU. I always want to call it Double Cross. I've been playing that on the Switch, which is a port of a 3DS game. That game looks better, and that is a re-release of it's a re-release of an enhanced version of a 3DS game that looks better than Sword and Shield, and that game has a lot more going on in it than Sword and Shield does.
The one thing that I did notice when I played Sword and Shield was I did start noticing certain things. Like I look at the trees and be like, wow, there is some aliasing there. But I only ever really noticed it in dock mode. Like I can tell that the game was definitely designed portable
for handheld mode
first. And yeah, exactly. Because in handheld mode, I don't notice any of that. I'm like, wow, it looks great for a handheld game.
Well, the problem is the developer is only used to handheld systems. And they didn't really bother to bring in too many people that worked on console games and maybe get their... Like, I don't know why they... Like, maybe they did, but, like, I don't know why people aren't pulling in Monolith Soft to do stuff more, because the people who made Xenoblade know how to do world building. Bring them in and have them do stuff. That's why the world in Breath of the Wild is as good as it is. Take that for what you think, or, like, what you may feel. But, like, that's why the world is, at least to the quality it is because Monolith came in to help. Because they know how to do open worlds. Like, you might say, oh, there's nothing there, but that's all the other design team's part. They just kind of built the landscapes, made everything flow. That's what they do. And Sword and Shield could have had them come in because Nintendo shares all their developers around. And they're like, no, let's, like, put 30 people on this game and then inflate the number to, like, 1,000, but, like, half of them are marketing. I think they said something like 300 people worked on that game, but like half them were, he counted in like the marketing division and the PR and like the dude who works at the counter and stuff like that.
It's like, what were the marketing people doing, going door to door being like, have you heard of Pokemon? Would you like, a copy?
Well, the marketing people would like, handle the sales of the game, advertisements, tie-ins with the anime, like the Pokemon Center stuff. They would probably handle all that. Yeah.
What have you been playing lately, Kale?
Well, aside from that, I've been playing a lot of Monster Hunter GU, and I just really want to play more Monster Hunter and talk about Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I kind of saw that. Should I be going back on, so to speak?
Do you have Double Cross, or do you have GU, or do you have both?
Both.
Okay, I just bought GU because it was like $20 in the eShop. I don't know if it's still on sale. Timber, will you buy Monster Hunter GU and play with us?
What is it on?
Switch.
Oh, is that so? Hold on, that's not Monster Hunter World? It's actually
No.
Monster Hunter GU. Is that just like a ported 3DS Monster Hunter?
But if you want to play World, do you have World?
No, I can probably have World. My computer can definitely handle World. I just
It's
don't own
on
it.
sale on Green Man Gaming right now with the Iceborne expansion for $32.
That's pretty good.
I guess I'll go get it.
Now, while you're there, like since you probably were expecting 60, if you buy 2 copies of that and you could send one to me, then we can play it on PC.
Oh God.
Because
I'll have
I
to think
really
about
want
I'm I'm like doing the biggest like kill mad face right now.
I want to play it on PC. Let's see, I have Monster Hunter. Hold on. I have Monster Hunter World on PS4, and I don't have Iceborne. I would have to buy it through the Japanese, like PSN,
Wait.
which you cannot use an American credit card on. And then my Plus only runs until May, which is for the online. The flip side is I can just buy it all on PC, but I'm broke. So I haven't bought it because I bought GU instead. Because I'm like, this is all new, and like everyone else, like some of us have World on PC, some have on PS4, some people have Xbox One, but everyone has a Switch, so we all got GU.
I'll think about it. I saw something surprising on Steam though. Kyo, are you aware of Dreadout 2?
Yes, did I don't know, did I get a code for that? Hold on. Because I think I asked for a code for it, because I'm not paying for that. Apparently it's not bad, which is surprising, because the first Dreadout was real bad. Like, you know,
Oh no, it's terrible.
Like,
the reviews hate it.
Like, if you've never played it, like, you know what Fatal Frame is. You know, the thing that ripped off Luigi's Mansion, because Luigi's Mansion came before Fatal Frame, and they're, like, the same game. Now, think of, like, Fatal Frame, and you're like, oh, this is, I think, I can't remember if they're Taiwanese. I forgot, or I think it's an Indonesian company. So, like, an Indonesian developer made a version of, like, a Fatal Frame-style game. But the problem is, it's terrible. It's really, really bad, and it's kind of a joke. Because people are like, oh, Dreadout, I'll try that. That sounds cool. I love Asian horror. And then they play it, they're like, this is really bad. Yeah, it's really bad.
Yeah, I mean, it does look like it got a fresh coat of paint on it, which is really all that I found especially egregious about the first Dreadout, is that it was kind of not a good-looking game. But in terms of how it played, like you said,
mechanically was bad,
just,
too.
Mechanically, it's Fatal Frame.
I heard it's better. I've heard 2 is better. It is interesting, though, that the way that they're killing things is you're not getting, like, a special camera. I'm literally looking at a GIF of her using her camera phone. Like, her, like, iPhone. She's killing with that, which is fine. I mean...
Well, I would say you should pick it up because my friend reviewed it, and I quote, "A cat stole that girl's shoe. Give it back, cat. It doesn't even fit you." So that should probably tell you that this is a quality game.
I mean, I requested a code for it. I'm probably not gonna get it because I'm not paying for Dreadout. But I want
Fair
it.
enough. All right. Yeah, I was just shocked. I was like, okay. I was trying to find Monster Hunter World on Steam, so I was clicking to get there, and the first thing on my page was like, we recommend Dreadout 2 to you, and I'm almost like, I think you have me confused for Kyo, but sure. That and Pathologic 2, which I've kind of been wanting to check out because Ice Pick Lodge makes some insane stuff.
That is such an unfun game, but it's also not meant to be a game. Well, Pathologic's not meant to be a game. How did someone describe it? Let me find this. It was a decent quote. Do you know of the speedrunner named Punchy?
No, probably not.
Okay, well, he's a speedrunner who's known for his, he's very opinionated and just kind of like, just screams into the void of Twitter and people listen. He's not like a bad person or anything like that, so don't take it like that as like, oh, he's just like, toxic or something. He's not. He's very opinionated. He was playing Pathologic. Let me see. Okay, watching a Pathologic speedrun because it's an incredible mood because you just rock up to a town about to undergo a pandemic and you just fucking sleep on your friend's couch for 2 weeks and then it ends.
Oh, man.
And so here's his description of it. Pathologic 2 is engrossing and strangely compelling, but also wildly overwhelming, and everyone has the fucking plague. And there's like 8 million things to do and no clear indication of which ones are worth pursuing, and also I'm starving to death. Fuck. That's his description of Pathologic too.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably a good capture for it. I mean, all of Ice Pick Lodge's games are extreme mind fucks that are enjoyable in a weird way and also terrible to play. Like, not a single one of them is a good gameplay experience in terms of like what you're doing in it. Like, potentially the most refined among their games is The Void, and even that is very Eurojank when it comes to what you're actually doing in the game. But there's always, I don't know, they're probably, there's a lot of artsiness to it that I can appreciate just because of, it's like where Stalker comes from, right? Like this weird, dark, cynical worldview that seems to permeate a lot of Eastern European to Russo content that comes out. I'm not saying all games from those regions are like that, but there are a hefty few that just seem to have kind of a darker tone to them than your typical Western equivalent. So it's very interesting, kind of experiencing those. And except for Cargo, I don't know if anybody knows about Cargo. That's the only one that I would say I don't think there's a deeper meaning to it. The whole point of the game was that there's just a lot of really weird baby creatures that you use for various mobility tasks for some reason. It's like probably where Kojima got his inspiration for Death Stranding, if I had to guess.
There's not even a wiki page for Cargo.
That's that makes sense.
Like Pathologic 1 and 2, The Void, Knock Knock, Pathologic Classic HD, they all have a page, but Cargo does not.
It is so bad. It is the worst thing they've made. It's rated 9 out of 10 on Steam. First of all, how does that even work? Because it's not a 10-star rating. But
Eurogamer gave it a 7 out of 10, and then Adventure Classic Gaming gave it a 2 out of 5.
Okay, that.
Oh, sorry,
2 out of
sorry.
5.
This is the wrong game because that game doesn't have a page. That was The Void.
The Void is good. I like The Void. This is, oh boy. It's like a cross between Death Stranding and Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. I think that's the best way to describe this game.
That's so weird. That's the weirdest idea for a game that I've ever heard of.
Well, maybe you need to play it, Kyo. I'm not sure.
I don't
maybe
hate
it's
myself
up your alley.
Huh. Look, all I want to do right now is play Monster Hunter. I don't want to play anything else. Although I have been playing another game which I think you'd actually like. It's probably really right up your alley.
Uh-oh. Okay.
It's called World of Horror, which I've been doing a video series on YouTube for the past week or so.
I've actually been watching your YouTube videos and I've been enjoying them. Kind of the... I've only really gotten through the your like collage, like whatever that was, the compilation of like several horror games in one game.
Mm-hmm. The demo
that
disc.
you've been doing. Yeah. But it's
what do you
definitely
think of that?
It's been entertaining. I've really been enjoying the structure of it. It kind of reminds me of sort of older style reviews where it's very focused on the game and what's happening in it. Like there's really, you don't have the YouTube fluff of modern day, right? Like it's very to the point. And I enjoy I also enjoy the takes on it. Like, it's surprising to hear you say that you like something.
I say all the time that I like shit, but no one listens. No one listens. People only listen to negatives, and then they listen to no positive stuff. And that's what I fucking hate about people. No, but I'm sitting there playing fucking Tomb Raider on stream, and I'm like, I like the world, but this game is really boring and controls awful. They're like, you just don't like anything. I'm like, there's no camera control in this 3D jumping game. Like, how is that okay? There's 15 buttons on this controller, and they're all used to do like 15 different things when it could be simplified down. Why is there a separate button to sidestep and a separate button you have to hold to like turn, but you can't hold both buttons at the same time?
I'm just saying you walked away from a game where you explicitly said you don't like this kind of game, but enjoyed a shooter. I never seen you had like it was like a shooty kind of quakey undead game.
Effigy, yeah.
Yeah, and you enjoyed it. And I mean, all your points, it makes sense why you enjoyed it. It's just interesting to see you kind of go out of your comfort zone of genre and still kind of take away the positive points for it. I think it's not a common thing that I've seen from you.
Because, like, I want to know how that was doing, because I have the other half of them. I have footage done and mostly the thoughts written down for the other half. But I'm like, does anyone care if I do this or not?
Oh, I love watching it. I think the thing with YouTube that boy, this is going to be like, should this be on the podcast or not? But the thing with YouTube is that it's a different flavor from Twitch. With Twitch, it's all about the view in the moment. Mm-hmm. And, you know, once it's over, you immediately know, okay, that was good or that was bad. Because by the end of it, there's no chance that you're really going to grow more because of that stream. With YouTube, you can make a video, it'll get 5 views when you released it. And 5 years later, when there's a viral hit about whatever, the horror demo disc, you'll get, you know, suddenly traction and millions of views for it. You can't really predict the ebb and flow of that. Nor should you really base your content on whether or not it will be seen. You should always... YouTube, and this is advice that even I struggle with, but YouTube is at its best when you are making content because you find value in having something exist, because you feel it's something that needs to exist. You don't see anybody else doing it, or you could do it better. That's the content that you should make on YouTube, regardless if there's a obvious demand for it from the trends that are going on.
Yeah, because I don't understand YouTube at all.
I think there's definitely a balance to strike. You know, picking
Neither
things
do
that
I.
I think picking things that are somewhat relevant is good, but ultimately the underlying decision should always be to pursue passion first, numbers second, when it comes to YouTube. Because if you're passionate about it, the trickle of 5 or 10 viewers that come in could instantly transfer into 10 new subscribers. They're not, you know, if you get 50 views and 50 people subscribe to you from those 50 views, that is amazing. It doesn't matter if the video didn't get 1 million views, because those 50 people are going to keep coming, right? So it's a very different game to play and a frustrating one if you put stuff out and it seems like the people that did subscribe to you just disappeared from under you, carpet got pulled. That's very frustrating. But as long as you're making what you want to make, I say go for it. And I think your content's good from what I've seen. Like, I think you have a sense of what you want it to be.
Yeah. Anything else before we move on to questions tonight?
Nah.
I had a thought earlier about something that maybe should or should not. Yeah, nah. It would just be like about let's just go.
All right, so let's move on to questions. I know Ken is the one hosting, but I will move on and do this because it's in my thing. If you are new, there will be a link in the description to join my Discord server if you are coming from here or from Twitch or anywhere. And in there is an Ask Kyo stuff. You go in there, you can ask questions. We'll answer it here on this podcast, or if it's more pressing, I will answer it there. You can tag exactly who you want at it, or you can just like leave it generic, and I will vaguely figure out who it's supposed to go to. Now for today's, we have a few, although some of them are all just nonsense questions. The first question was Hideo Kojima ?
Yes, a brilliant god of a man.
If I wear my hat and my glasses, we kind of look the same. Oh no. Let me. You didn't see the picture? Okay.
Yes.
Timber hasn't seen it.
Wait, hold on. Okay.
Okay. I'll post this up to remind me. So Kojima Kyo picture here, please. Do we not? Do you not see the resemblance there?
Yeah, it's definitely there, man. I think you're... did you like Death Stranding? Because I feel like you'd like Death Stranding.
I didn't play it.
I think that's a lie, Kojima.
You mean Kyojima?
Kyojima. Oh, no!
Timber, Kojima? Hideo Kojima? Question mark?
Yes. Yes, my vote is yes.
Okay. And then a follow-up to that. That was from Chiuri, by the way. And a follow-up to that is, do you think gamer, in all caps, is an honorary... Do you think gamer is an honorary title or now merely a mockery? I think it's a mockery, but when people use it seriously,
a mockery.
I find it funny.
It's such a mockery.
Like, there's one streamer I watch sometimes, speeder named Waifu. His thing all the time is sup gamers, because he's like a 20-year-old kid, and like he even has like a howdy emote that's just, I think, called gamers or something like that.
Oh,
it's a mockery now.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, that's precisely what... How are you guys doing out there, gamers? I hope that you're gaming it up with your Mountain Dew and Doritos, playing your Overwatches and your League. People are still in the League, right?
Yeah,
right.
People are still in the League.
My ears are bleeding right now.
Like, the only people I know now...
I toss a coin to you, will you stop?
I will punch you in the ear next. There are only like two people I know that still use the term gamer, and they are like really young kids in middle school who say things like pro gamer move, and then like, I don't know, like millennials who are really jaded about things. And that's the only people who use gamer now. It's like kids who think they're cool and millennials who just want to bust people's chops and be depressed. I am in that camp. And I love my new hat. I love it. It's a flat build snapback hat, too. It's an official snapback.
Oh, Lord. All the chops you could break with that.
All right, next question. We've already answered this, I'm pretty sure, a couple times. From AlabamaTofu. Everyone's in-depth thoughts on Death Stranding. Haven't played it.
It's only going to be me talking about it.
And I think we gave you a chance to talk about it in like a previous podcast, so go back like at least 3 episodes. Go back to the ones around November or December.
I'm surprised that Kojima didn't play his own game.
He's waiting for the PC version with the stupid Half-Life hat.
Actually, do you think he does? Honest question. Do you think that the person who develops these games, like, do they go back and then actually play it once it's finished? Like, does he appreciate his work that way? Or is it kind of cursed because he's probably, like, looked at the same pixels for 3 or 4 months?
I know some people that don't touch or listen to the thing that they help create.
Yeah, who doesn't help listen?
Yeah,
who doesn't listen to the thing they help?
Those are some weird people, man.
I mean, I personally don't go back and watch my VODs. I don't like that, and like I don't do that. But like, I make my own videos and listen to them, and like have to like do the audio for the podcast. So like, I listen to that. But like, if it was on its own, like I don't re-listen to it once it's on YouTube. I don't rewatch my stuff once it's on YouTube.
Unless it was a particularly short video, this is true for me as well. Like, most of my stuff, when it's like a 20-minute epic, I don't watch it. Not because it doesn't deserve to be watched, but because in order to get it there, I had to watch it over and over and over again for probably 3, 4 to 6 weeks. Right? So by the time it's out, I'm like, I know what it looks like. I'm good. So yeah. TLDR, unless he tells us otherwise on Twitter, Hideo Kojima does not play his own games.
That was not the question at all either. All right, next question from Puddin' Cup. Is it okay to be a gamer after 30? My father keeps asking me why I still play games when all he does is sleep and watch TV all day. Well, I mean, he's just gonna watch Jag anyway. I mean, it's the same thing. Like, my mom just sits around and watches like The Big Bang Theory. So like, if my parents ever get on me, like my dad's like, why do you still play games? I'm like, all you watch is the Military History Channel and then like Jack Ryan. So obviously you don't do anything different either.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely get your point. So in 2 years, I'm pretty sure I'm just going to like quit and I'm going to like go build a house and chop trees the way that adults do.
You're gonna get yourself some timber.
I'm gonna get myself some timber.
Yeah.
You did not respond to my
Minnesota?
funny joke. You did not respond to my funny joke. I sent you on the thing, on like DMs, I sent you a picture of a Timber, Timburr, Pokemon raid. I said, it's a Timber raid, ripping to shreds, and you did not respond to it.
Where? What is this? I don't know where what?
You go look in your DMs.
Which DMs? My Discord DMs?
Yeah. It was above me asking you for advice the other day.
I was distracted by the advice request.
It was the picture right before that. From,
all I see are a bunch of voice meter screenshots.
No, go up before the voice meter conversation. It'll be on February 29th. It's before a message that says chump. Rip him to it says tip him to shreds because I misspelled it, but it says rip him to shreds. It's a timber raid.
I think I saw it, thought it was amazing, and then got distracted and forgot to respond.
Well, just like all of my YouTube videos, thank you for the feedback.
Kyo, you're a great person. Keep up the good work. You're killing it out there. Okay.
Go buy me Monster Hunter or send me a stream gift. Make me feel appreciated around here. Give me some nice makeup or take me out on a date or something, Timber. Jesus Christ.
It's too much pressure in this relationship, Kyo.
This is why you didn't move here.
Was there another question?
Black Shotgun asks, are you a real gamer?
You know, this is actually a very nuanced question.
No, technically, if I were to say I'm a real gamer, no, I'm not a real gamer.
No.
I'm like a part-time gamer at this point.
I mean, I guess I'd count as a real gamer because all I do all day is play games, but I mean, I do that for work. So, like, honestly, like, my relaxing time now is listening to Avril Lavigne music on repeat on YouTube, and then occasionally
I kind of see that.
Yeah. I have completely messed up my YouTube algorithm because it has no idea what to suggest me. Because I only listen to Avril Lavigne, and then
Avril Lavigne, a Monster Hunter.
Well, I only listen to Avril Lavigne, and then I only upload horror game stuff, so it has no idea what to do about me. It's fantastic. It's like K-pop. I'm like, no, not K-pop. It's just like shit. That usually works.
It's actually pretty great tripping up the algorithm like that. At this point, let me see. What does YouTube think I like?
I have learned about 3 new songs from Avril Lavigne. Not new, but new for me. They are fantastic. She is underrated.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, she has a very distinct voice. I like her voice. Mm-hmm. She's not a bad singer, and for some reason when she was in her 30s, she thought it was a good idea to make the song Hello Kitty, and I applaud her for that.
Yeah. Yeah, that song is amazing. I love it. They play it all the time when you're in Harajuku.
Mina saiko arigato kawaii.
Oh no.
Oh,
apparently.
Go ahead. We're like getting off track.
Oh no, it's fine. I am not a real gamer, but I would say, I don't know. There's a fine line. I was gonna say creators generally aren't going to be gamers, not because they play games. So by definition, if a gamer is just one who plays games, you're a gamer. But I don't think that's what people are thinking of. Like when you think gamer, you think Mountain Dew, Doritos, and Overwatch / Fortnite.
People who care about the video game
Pog.
awards.
So anybody who's like creating content is generally not going to be a gamer because we spend a shocking amount of time making the thing that you're trying to watch of us. So when we're making content about a video game, we're a gamer in the sense that we're talking about a game and exerting a lot of effort into this conversation. But in terms of the amount of game I play like a week of Breath of the Wild or The Witcher or whatever it is that I'm covering. And then the rest of it is looking over that footage to find the best bits for the thing I'm trying to do. And then editing it for the next 2 weeks and stitching some vocals, like narration over it or something. Like we don't, the ratio there is like 1/5, if that, of my time is actually playing the game, not even counting real life job and working out and eating food.
It's almost like being like a coach for a sport. You're going to talk and tell people about a sport, about the thing, more than you're actually going to do the thing. How many coaches actually sit there and actually play football? They'll probably show you a couple moves or whatever movements, tactics. What do you do in sports? But they're not actually out there playing basketball.
Yeah, exactly. He's not out there doing ollies the way that coaches do.
All right, next question from Puddin' Cup.
I hate the both of you.
Next question from Puddin' Cup. Are you coming on to me? Maybe.
Who now?
Puddin' Cup. Just say yes or no.
I guess? I don't know.
Timber, are you coming on to them?
Nah, I'm not much of a pudding guy.
Okay, good. These next ones are kind of linked together, and I know we'll quickly get through them. Just a simple answer to this next one from Black Shotgun. What are go-to games when you're down or sad? Like, what is, like, this is my pick-me-up game? Like, this is gonna either make you feel better, or you're like...
Tetris Effect.
That's a good one. Or, like, if you're sad, you're like, you just want to, like, feel that mood a bit more. You're like, maybe I want to play something a little more depressing just to, work shit out.
I actually have to think about this for a bit. Generally, when I'm down, I think I don't actually play games that much, but there certainly were ones.
That's kind of the same as me. Like, if I'm in a really bad mood, I probably don't want to see or touch a video game. But usually, if I'm in a bad mood, I want to play a music game, and I'll usually play something like Space Channel 5 if I'm in the mood to play a game and fairly down, because that game is always like, it always has something to make me feel better in it.
Yeah, it's rare for me to like go back to a thing. Lately, it's been a Ring Fit Adventure, just because I feel better about like the fact that I've exercised. But I think that's kind of cheating.
Losing them pounds.
Yeah, just being like, hey, I did a good thing. Or the other thing I'll do is, hey, I'm feeling down. I should create content because it feels like progress. Like I'm doing it. Once again, I think productivity is my general cure-all. So generally, just playing a game tends to just make me feel more depressed.
It would either be Tetris Effect or the AKB dating game, just to make sure that I'm not alone in my life.
That is fucking depressing and sad.
Or any type of visual novel kind of game. Because I like reading, so reading and being invested in a world makes me forget about how depressed I am in mine.
Damn. All right, we have one more question. It's kind of like a two-part one from Tofu. What is the most relaxing game you played in the last decade, and what's the most aesthetically pleasing game? They could be the same, or they could be completely different ones. I'll let you guys go first.
The last decade, that is such an umbrella.
Or we can even think about this one and come back to it at the beginning of next episode. Like, this could be something we could think about, because this could almost be an entire topic on its own.
Yeah, kind of can be.
Yeah, let's just remember it for next time. I can think of a game off the top of my head right now that would definitely fit the bill, but also it's so fresh that I feel like it's almost not fair.
Sayonara Wild Hearts.
Wow, how did you know?
Because that game is like, it's big bisexual energy in color and presentation.
It is such a visual and auditory overload that I can't feel anything else, and by that tangent, it's relaxing in its exuberance. I think Katamari was the same way, like just being this big, colorful, loud thing that is so it takes so much of your focus that you can't help but forget anything that you were worrying about. Abzu kind of had a similar effect.
No one knows what Abzu is. Stop scratching your beard.
That comes through? No way.
Yes.
Oh
yes,
my god. Okay.
Yes, because I record stuff and I hear myself going, like, scratching my beard.
I didn't think you could pick that up. Okay.
Yes,
good
I can
to
hear
know.
it all the time.
Good to know. This episode brought to you by Timber's Beard.
Dollar Shave Club.
The Dollar Shave Club. Guys, okay, something ridiculous. If you want to know how anime my frickin' beard is, I gave myself a paper cut on my hand because I was touching my beard, and the beard literally sliced my finger.
Oh, I've gotten a splinter from my hair before. from like a beard hair. I guess I like cut it really short, and like I went to like brush up my beard, and I got a splinter from my hair.
Oh my god. I didn't know that beards were so dangerous. So this is a
Yeah.
PSA for everyone out there who's thinking about getting a beard. Know that you will cut yourself on the blades that are your face when you have a beard.
Nice. All right, I think that about wraps up questions. We'll come back to that one from Tofu next time.
Absolutely.
Okay. Do you want to take us out of here?
Yes. So, where can we find you lovely people? Let's start with you, Timber.
Well, if you would like to see more of me and my stuff, I am on twitch.tv/TimberTaft, streaming Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays at 9 p.m. Eastern. I do use that schedule very lightly, so you can always check on Twitter, twitter.com/TimberTaft, to know exactly what my stream days are going to be for the week. Also, I have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/TimberTaft, where I post videos. Usually it's top 10s, reviews, parody songs, and the sort. Lately it's been more cover songs, and I'm also working on some more kind of discussy type of videos where I focus in on like specific topics in games, and an abridged series for certain games. And also that's everything. How about the rest of you?
And you, Kyo?
All right, you can find me on twitch.tv/KyoryuHunter. You can find me on Twitter at KokusaiKyoryu. You can also find me here on YouTube, where I have been uploading a full playthrough of World of Horrors Extracurricular Activity playthrough, or that scenario, as well as an in-depth kind of like informal review in a way of the Haunted PS1 demo disc demos / games that are in there. Please take a look at those both. Please take a look at both of those and let me know what you think of them. It's fairly new for me. I'm still like figuring out this YouTube thing, and I appreciate some feedback on that. And also let me know what you think about the format of this podcast as well. I'm going to try a different video this time around, so hopefully, as long as I didn't get too lazy, you'll be seeing something a little bit different that hopefully will relate to what we're talking about. So let me know what you think in the comments. And you can.
And you can find me on my Japanese music-based podcast, Ongaku. You can find me out there, and the website at ongaku.com. You can follow me at OTYCam1, where I'm mostly just tweeting about Bang Dream stuff. And if not that, Final Fantasy 14. But yeah,
I think I have you
I want to say thank you for joining us on this week's episode of the lovely Podasaurus.
I'd like to thank the Academy for putting on this lovely show.
Yeah, because this is gonna win the Podcasties awards.
There is one, isn't there? Like the Casties?
Yes, there is.
Oh no.
Yeah, there is one.
Oh boy.
We're gonna use this for your consideration.
Yeah.
What if we get one over Ongaku to you, even though its production values are higher? What if you were not recognized for Ongaku to you, but it was for Podasaurus?
I wouldn't mind that. Let's just say this much. I portray two different types of Kens when I'm on this podcast and when I'm hosting.
The many faces of Ken.
The many faces of Ken. Because Ongaku to you Ken has to be straight and narrow and ring in the other two. While with this one, I just lay back and I just let you guys talk.
Probably going to cut all of this out.
Have a good night, everybody.
See you, everyone.
Aloha.
Mm.